topics covered for the first exam. Class Videl, Rachel, we have how many meetings for the exam? Kano sa exam?
February 8 ang attorney ang schedule. So we have today and tomorrow. Tapos we still have 6 meetings.
Okay. So most likely we can proceed to the other topics which will be covered for the second exam.
Ay, 4 na lang po pala. 4 before
Nonetheless,
the...
including today, including for tomorrow.
Yes, including today and tomorrow. Ay, including tomorrow pa, 5 pa.
5. Excluding today.
Yes,
Five.
excluding today. Bali, if sali yun today, 6 meetings.
Yeah, 6.
All in all.
Like 2 weeks now. Sige. I hope we can finish our this topic tonight so that tomorrow we can proceed with another topic. Although we wrap up first the coverage for the exam, and then by next week we can move on to the midterm coverage. Okay, and I'll send the second set of slides after the exam para people won't ma-confuse. Okay. Right, so we now proceed with section 4. So the slide chosen ako niya. So, alright. Section 4 of Article 3 speaks of the freedom of speech, the press and expression, the assembly and petition, mag-rally, no? So, mag-demonstration sa public place, no? That's assembly and petition. Okay, so section 4 says no law shall be passed abridging the freedom of speech, of expression, or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and petition the government for redress of grievances. Okay, so medyo marami ito, no? So, isang provision pero maraming rights. Speech, all the expression covers this all. Kasi broad man yung expression. That includes academic freedom sa expression. And in fact, even religion, pwede mo sabihin, it's part of your expression. Pero the Constitution really specifically provides for protection on the freedom of religion. But expression itself is very broad, to include speech and written speech, maybe written speech, correspondence, and then verbal speech, and then gesture, even kanang recording, siguro sa expression, yung video, kanang mga cinema, movie portrayals, no? Kasama expression yan. Or even the use of symbolisms, no? Raising of flag, etc. Wearing of black, something black to show that you are mourning, etc. So, part yun ng expression. Or of the press, no? Alam nyo yung press, no? Ang ating media, katunga ra, media, na so, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and petition the government, yung rally. No? So these rights are particularly considered as political rights. Ano man ito, civil right, okay? Which is, you're entitled to it for your full enjoyment as a member of the civil society. Pero it's more a political right because by exercising this right, you are influencing the state, our representative, to carry out something that you want to, for reforms and for its attention, no? Especially for speech, mayroon kang mga galit na galit ka, addressing your concerns to the government, di ba? TikTok, mag-rant ka sa TikTok, sukukay ka, etc. No? Speech, expression, disgust, mga anti-corruption policy that you want to enforce. Press, ayan, no? The media should not be parang curtailed, should not be prevented from its function, should not be threatened, no? To the most, should be protected at all times, no? And the right to assemble, katong mag-rally, no? To panahon sa mga political gathering na ganing mag-rally because you want to bring to the attention concern that appealing concern or urgent matter that should be addressed. So, in the end, Section 4 forms part of political rights. Okay? When you say political right, ito yung right of the people to participate in the affairs of the state. No? That includes kanang yung sa referendum, when you cast your vote, di ba? Or if you are a legislator or an initiative, na parang ikaw mismo ang mo sign para sa passage of the law, no, the People's Initiative, these are political rights. And Section 4. Now, Section 4 is the freedom of speech and expression of the press is the liberty to discuss publicly and truthfully any matter of public interest without censorship or punishment. No? Take note na without censorship or punishment. Pero, kinsa ganito nag-filean o kaso for inciting to sedition na abogado. Kaya na siya comment sa isa ka event kaya ining siya Mindanao Republic ang ihang ginakuan. You know very well na when you are asserting this concept, you are trying to remove a portion of the from the that could be sedition, rebellion, or depending on the circumstances, no? Diba meron si Jimmy Bundok.
Jimmy Bundok.
Yes, Jimmy Bundok, no? Bakit? No? Is it not a curtailment? Is it not that we have the freedom to, no? So meron palang limitation, hindi siya absolute. Although you would say, no law shall be passed abridging the freedom of speech. So meaning there are protected speeches. Na po yung mga unprotected under the circumstances. Pero we look into the situations, kailan siya pwede i-censor, kailan siya pwede i-restrain. So, that's why, as a general rule, it should be uncurtailed. The freedom should be exercised, to be afforded to everyone. However, meron tayong tinatawag na restriction on expression. Meron tayong situations that prevents you from exercising the right. No? Next is the test on the validity of these restrictions. Now, how do you know that the restriction is valid? So what test will you apply? We will talk about libel and obscenity. And we will talk about petition and assembly. So ito yung outline natin for this section 4. Now, what are the different forms of restraint? Ano yung mga paraan where the exercise of this freedom can be regulated or can be prevented, no? Or violated, impaired. Ayan. So first is we have prior restraint. From the term prior, meaning it happens before the expression. So meaning this is a government restriction on forms of expression in advance of the actual publication or dissemination. Na-express mo na, kaya lang hindi lang siya napapublish, hindi pa siya na-disseminate. Dumadaan siya sa process of censorship, screening, and licensing and permits, no? before ka maka-operate sa publication, dadaan ka muna sa business permitting requirement, submit ka muna ng mga clearances, etc. So, those are prior restraints because you're not yet able to publish your material. Okay, so sabihin natin na you are a broadcaster or you are a media, you are a TV personality or a host. Hindi naman, although merong mga live, diba, may streaming, hindi siya na-filter. A general rule, dadaan siya sa MTRCB screening. Tapos tinatanggal yung mga compelling, yung something na disturbing or yung mga hindi ka nais-nais or something that may be offensive or contrary to law, to morals. No? So, that's censorship before the publication. So, this is one form of restraint. The other form of restraint is yung subsequent punishment, meaning tapos na, nasabi mo na, naisulat mo na, na-chat mo na, at saka na-send mo na, or na-post mo na sa Facebook. Ayan. So, sa ibang mga social media, before siya i-post, di ba, sa unang panahon natin, mag-upload ka niya, screen pa nila. Kaya, babaluan mo kung i-approve nila, kaya ma-post naman ito yung mga gino. Pero karon sa Facebook, wala na yan, no? Wala kayo prior restraint. More on subsequent restraint, subsequent punishment. So, this is the restraint on the freedom of speech, expression, and of the press that comes after the exercise of said rights in the form of criminal prosecution for libel, for sedition, for inciting to rebellion, the closure of the operations of the establishment, citations for contempt, suits for damages. Ano pa ba yung paraan natin? Yung, ayun, closure, no? Or kung sa Facebook, i-block ang imuhang, block ang term na to. I-report mo para block ang term. Diba? So, yan. No? So, punishment din kasi na-remove yung publication, na-remove yung channel, etc. No? So, these are different forms of subsequent punishment or form of a restraint of expression. Okay? Do press statements of high officials threatening the press with prosecution if that reduce the formal orders form a prior receipt? Yes, kasi threat siya, no? Okay? Dapat hindi mo, wag mong i-threaten yung publisher. Let them do their job. Okay? Now, the old test for a restriction is we apply clear and present danger rule. Okay? Pero if you have already your criminal law 2, teka lang nga, hanapin yung term. Here. Okay. Term is dangerous tendency. Remember that? Familiar kayo yan? In times of war, iba yung standard, no? Ano bang, when you will speak something publicly and it is in times of war or na national unrest, political unrest, state of calamity, state of emergency, there is a more relaxed na standard which is we call dangerous tendency. The mere tendency is sufficient standard na to say that your spoken language qualify as a crime. Ayun. Dangerous tendency. Like, example yung mga inciting to sedition, inciting to war, inciting to rebellion. So, then, ano yan, no? In times of war, kami lang masulti nimo, pagkagubot, namingan ka din nga, kami ito natutong kusog, etc. Inciting na yan. Kasi, there's a war. The tendency alone that people would respond to it, resulting to an even serious unrest, is already sufficient to qualify the statement as a crime, to pass it as a violation. But during time of peace, we apply clear present danger rule. So, pagbawal na kanang sulti ni mga words in times of peace can be restricted only if there is a clear and present danger. So, hindi siya speculative. Even if it's clear, but if it's not yet present, no problem. No. Example, ani ka to ganing what happened to the statement ni Sara Duterte itong address sa tao in vlog in public conversation with vloggers or meron silang group na podcast pa yung tawag natin doon, nag-zoom sila, etc. Remote conversation with friends. Tapos sinabi niya, putang ina niyo, pag may mangyari sa akin, di ba, barilin niyo si, yan, di ba may sinabi gano'n, no? Now, will that amount to the crime? So, we will see, is there a clear and present there? Condition there is hindi pa naman siya, pag may nangyari sa kanya, yun lang naman. Now, will that constitute a grave threat? There was a condition, hindi naman siya present. No? I don't know how we appreciate that. But for purposes of a restriction of the expression, in the old times, our jurisprudence apply clear and present danger. Whether the words are used in such circumstances and of such nature as to create a clear and present danger that they will bring about the substantive evil that the legislature has the right to prevent. So, it has to be very, very clear na and present. Dautan gyud. Di gyud maayo nga statement. No? So, sabihin natin na gina-interview ka tapos sabihin nga, putang ina, ganun, you're causing. Is there a clear and present danger na pwede siya i-restrict? Pwede siya i-censor? Yes. Kaya minsan in the past, di ba? May mga statement, nagagamit ng mga words, cross lang, ting, wala kayo madunggan. Because remove, no? Why? Because remember, there are children, there are sensitive people, there are delicate people, who get easily offended with this cussing na expressions. No? Na sa kanila, it's already unacceptable if you say these words. No? So, the state can always restrict this, censor it because of the clear and present danger. Pero meron naman tayong jurisprudence na yung tao nga, son of a bitch, or utang ina mo. So may expression lang daw yan. Wala daw siyang, hindi siya pwede gamitin ni mo na ground for criminal prosecution for defamation. Yung kagiinay ko niya buring, inan ko niya kuan, so mo-file kag kasong slander, no? By words. So may expression, mayroon namang wala daw siyang devoid of meaning. Okay, so dili siya for purposes of a crime, wala criminal intent to maliciously impute a defect to the person. It passes only as a expression, kasi ginagamit na siya na karamihan as usual expression, whether during casual talk, ay, magiging expression siya. So, although bad, but the purposes of publication, pwede siya i-screen, okay? Because it might influence people listening to do the same, especially for younger ones. You would say it's contrary to morals. Why would you influence the young ones to utter these statements, no, that may promote disrespect to adults and may offend these fellow children, resulting to a chaotic dealings with others. All right, take note, we use the standard clear and present danger in the past to test the restriction, meaning you can restrict the expression if there is a clear and present danger. So if there is a danger but not yet clear, or it's clear but not yet present, okay, wala pa, di pa klaro, di pa future pa, then you cannot restrict. It should be allowed, the expression. So that was the old test. Ngayon, we apply two tests in the restriction of expression. Diba? So we have strict scrutiny test and we have intermediate scrutiny test. The question now is, when do we apply strict scrutiny and when do we apply intermediate scrutiny? May pagkakaiba yun, di ba? Pag strict scrutiny, that's the hardest na standard, no? The presumption there is it's illegal, it's unlawful. So the burden is on the state. Siya ang mag-prove na lawful, na ay mga compelling interest na kailangan niya i-prove. Pag intermediate scrutiny, medyo mas relax siya. The presumption is it's legal. Ang standard lang is it's beneficial, it's significant, it's important, and a part of the aggrieved person, the complainant, siya ang mag-prove na it's not constitutional. So mas relax ng konti yung intermediate scrutiny test. So what type of restriction do we apply each of these tests? Now, we have to determine whether the prior restraint is content-based or content-neutral. Content-based, the other one is content-neutral. What are the differences, or what is the difference between the two? When you say content-based, it's imposed on the content of the speech. So, sabihin natin, a law is passed prohibiting, punishing people for saying kanamang sabihin natin, punishing catcalling. Ayan. Diba, we have Safe Space Act, no, Anti-Bastos Law, catcalling. Nalibog ko itong Anti-Bastos Law kay nato. Remember, ito explain this in the past, no? Katong sa Manila, katong manggawas sa balay nga nagpukas kay Pandakon. Kay matod pa, violation siya sa Safe Space Act, Anti-Bastos Law. Pero kung tanaw nito ang Anti-Bastos Law, wala man nagsulti, bawal, di man siya bawal. Wala man siya dito. Ano, maghukas ka. Yung kadagag tao maghukas, ganun dakpon man mo na. No? Ang ginabawal dito, more on the expression, more on katong wolf, kanang pagpanitsit, no, whistling, ogling, leering, kanang mga sexist slurs and mga sexual undertones sa mga statements, misogynistic, homophobic na mga statements, catcalling. Yan. Catcalling ka ng hindi na siya nga meow, hindi na. Catcalling, it could be means nga ng matagag statement that is offensive to someone. May ka, putiag, paoy, na catcalling na yan, no? The law defines it, no? So, sabi na, bawal ang ang catcalling, panitsit, sa babae, public places. So, catcalling yung sa expressions na misleading statement. Okay. So, it imposed on the content mismo, sa words na imong gi-utter. So Di na ka pwede manitsit sa public, di ka maingon nga, wow, ka pa. Yeah, so, sa panira, na, or marawag ka, yot, na, bawa na siya, kay, o na, homophobic statement man, napapakaulaw, etc. At calling man na siya, no? So, it's on the content itself. Now, there is a heavy presumption of unconstitutionality because you are preventing person to express these words. Kini nga mismo nga word, di ka pwede. Ibig ka muna yung address na masay tamang kapangalan. No? Di ka pwede mingon nga kanang kordapyo, ana. So, kung offended na siya sa iya ha, mingon ka, hoy, tibuli, ana. Sungugunin mo ang mga lesbian o magtutudlo sa bulang, no? So in the end, that is catcalling, no? Offensive siya. So the presumption there is it's the law that prohibits, that penalizes that. Okay, gusto ka mo storya, di nakastorya kay kasuhan ka. The presumption is that law is unconstitutional. So therefore, we apply now the strict scrutiny test. Ganong bawalan man? Strictly. Compelling state interest. So man ang compelling state moral. So imagine the dignity of the person. The emotional anguish na iyang i-suffer, the anxiety because of the statement made in public streets, etc. Ayan, nakatulong, no? So, yes, no, we want public order, that we don't want people to just insult anyone in public. So, pasok siya sa first na standard, no? Yan, Naroli Taylor, di ba mutahan words ang gibawal? Kanaraman yung mga words. So, pasok siya sa strict scrutiny test. So, that's the application. Hindi dapat pagbawalan ang tao to speak something because that is the general rule, no? Pero, there are words that cannot be said. So, ito yung content-based. Now, sabihin natin na para sa atong pag-publish ni Jose Rizal sa katong social cancer, filibusterismo, tsaka kanyang No Limit Tangere, it's not because of the book na yun i-publish, but it's because of the content, no? That nakaano siya, spirit sa tao to revolt, no? Because of the hidden meaning of the passage itself, no? When taken as a whole. So, bawal dapat to. Kung karoon tayo mo katong kuan, content-based na, the presumption there is it's unconstitutional. So, i-apply dapat ang strict scrutiny test kung ulit amount of crime, etc. Okay. Now, the second to consider aspect of restriction is yung content neutral. What is it? It has nothing to do with the content of the speech, but only on the time, mode, or manner of place of the exercise of the right and should be subject to intermediate scrutiny test. Ano example yan? Sabihin natin na bawal mag-videoke o alas 10 na sa gabi. No? Kung ayaw nyo matulog, magpatulog kayo, parang gano'n. Now, wala gibawalan mag-videoke, no? Wala gibawalan kung unsa nga kanta imong kantahon, unsay sulod sa kanta nga imong message imong kantahon. But it has something to do with the time. It's unholy hour. So, it's content neutral. So, if it's content neutral, it has nothing to do with the content or the message of the words that you spoke of, then you only subject it to intermediate scrutiny test. The law prohibiting this will be subject to intermediate scrutiny test only, not strict scrutiny test. So, mas medyo lighter. Okay? So, for discussion, what is the effect if we apply strict scrutiny? So, first, the government has the burden, di ba? It's generally unconstitutional. Illegal siya. Invalid siya. That's the presumption. So, to justify the restriction, then you have to prove that there is a compelling state interest. Kinahanglan yun kayo siya. Naadyo'y dako kayo nga rason. Importante kayo siya nga ma-stop yun. And it is the least restrictive means to protect an interest, or the means chosen is narrowly tailored to accomplish the interest. Narrowly tailored. Kailangan siya. Kana lang ang ibawal. Wala ilapot ang uban. Parang ganun ba? I-filter ug taman niya. Wala option but to prohibit this act. No? Otherwise, the interest will suffer. No? So, the comprehensive interest is equivalent to clear and present danger. That's what we are telling. Okay? I'll give example there. Now, what if we apply intermediate scrutiny test katong sa mga content neutral? So there is no heavy presumption of unconstitutionality. It's legal, it's constitutional. Okay? Wala may labot, di man ginistrict ang expression, ang mode lang man. Sabihin natin, bawal mo gamit o microphone kung manlikas. Diba? It has nothing to do with sa imong istorya, but it's the way of expressing it. Malikas ka tila, pero ay pag mic. You know? So, the presumption there, it's constitutional, it's valid. The state will only have to establish or prove that there is a substantial government interest. Ay bugat lang na dako lang policy nga gusto na ma-accomplish ang government or na siya purpose nga yan ang ibawal. So it is take note in O'Brien test, no? So ito yung mga standard, no? It should be within the power of the government to impose it. So there is an important or substantial governmental interest, like is in order, no? Relax lang. Education ba, morals, but it's already a substantial government interest, no? Economy, pwede na yan. Okay? If the governmental interest is unrelated to the suppression of the free expression, and if the incidental restriction is no greater than is essential for the furtherance of that interest. Yun. So, take note of examples here. We have some questions. Now, when there will be laws that will restrict your free speech and other fundamental rights, sometimes the High Court sustain the challenge, meaning declare nila nga illegal or unlawful or unconstitutional ang balaod, ang law, on the ground that it is overbroad or there is overbreadth. The second one is because of vagueness. I think you're familiar in the past na kung vague ang law, it's unconstitutional. Because if it's vague, di ba, violative siya sa due process clause, katong substantive due process. Because you would not know, ma-deprive ka sa notice, yung substantive notice. Hindi ka kabaloon sa gid ang gibawal. No? So, in overbreadth, it is a law, the law is overbroad, which sweeps unnecessarily broadly invade an area of protected freedom. So meaning, na yung mga freedom, fundamental rights nga masuffer. Dili lang isa, kundi napay other protected rights. No? Sabihin natin na ang ibig ang pagbawal is kinilang sparing nga pitch, pero at the end, mapektuhan ang inyong religious freedoms. Or mapektuhan ang inyong right to travel. No? Sabihin natin, pagbawal o pilgrimage during this time. So, it affects your right to travel. Overbreadth siya. It will affect your right to religion. Kasi pilgrimage is a form of religious exercise. It will also affect your right of freedom of expression because you wanted to express yourself to do this, to accomplish your inner purpose. So in the end, that's overbroad. Ganun pagbawalan ng pilgrimage. The pilgrimage itself is very, very broad itself. Dapat na specific lang ang conduct, in specific lang ang freedom ang i-curtail, not to sweep unnecessarily, broadly and invade area of protected freedom. So, ang impact sa restriction, law that restricts fundamental right will affect other rights, then that law will be, other fundamental rights rather, then that law is overbroad, it suffers the defect of overbreadth, and therefore it is unconstitutional. Yan. The second one is vagueness. Ito yon, medyo malabo ang terms. Hindi mo naiintindihan. No? A law which lacks comprehensive standard so that people would differ as to its meaning. Okay? So parang hindi mo maintindihan. So it will due process. Okay? You do not know what is avoided. And it leaves law enforcers or the police unbridled discretion in carrying out its provision. So meaning, kaya magbutbut na ang police, kina illegal na imong gibuhat, kini okay na. So, una na siya discretion sa pag-enforce sa balaod. So, that's vague. And if it's vague, it's unconstitutional. Because it violates the due process clause. As example, sabihin natin, a law that penalizes truancy. Ito yung ganing uso na sa mga ordinance, anti-truancy ordinance. Kanang bawal, kanang mamayabas, kanang cutting classes. Diba? Example lang. There are ordinances that penalizes cutting classes. Sometimes, you do not know when is cutting classes? When is it cutting class? Kasi pwede ka may nga overbroad mo sa kayo. Na dito importante kay ngatuan, no? Between your education obligation, schooling obligation, and your exercise of your religion. Mas purwil ba ang religion, diba? So it suffers overbreadth. Pero sa vagueness, when is it cutting classes? Kung wala yung maestra, tapos class hour, kaya wala yung maestra, muli ka, is that cutting classes? Or during class hour, pero nag-modular na ka. Wala ka nag... So, di ka ba ito sa school? Okay? Modular man imuhang modality, ay imuhang... because you are not in school, is that cutting classes? So, vague siya. So, magpuyo, cutting classes ka sa skulahan. So, the police officer will have its own discretion to determine what is akin siya will pass as an illegal. This is allowable. That is not allowed. That's vague. So these are grounds for challenging a restriction of the freedom, challenging the law. So if it's overbreadth, there is vagueness, the law can be challenged as unconstitutional. Next. So, generally, pag penal law, pag criminal law, an ordinary penal law cannot be facially challenged. When you say facial challenge or a facial invalidation means an examination of the entire law, pinpointing its flaws and defects, not only on the basis of its actual operation to the parties, but also on the assumption that its very existence may cause others not before the court to refrain from the constitutionally protected speech or activities. So, meaning to say, ang tibok balaod, ipa-declare niyo mga unconstitutional. That's facial challenge. Kaya tibok balaod mismo kinabalaoran ni illegal ni constitutional ni. Okay? That's facial challenge. So normally, pag facial challenge, doon lang ang ground na to. It's vagueness or the other one is overbroad. No? Masyadong, so because it's overbroad, our protected speech and protected freedom are affected. So facial challenge, ipa-strike nimo ang balaod as unconstitutional or a provision thereof as unconstitutional. That's facial challenge. Now, generally, a penal law, a criminal law, is not a subject of facial challenge. Nga naman, pwede na kamayan, kasabutaan ng balauran ni, kasabutaan ni, so meaning, unconstitutional ni. Wala ni, penal law, mapas, kita na lang. Uti mo gamayra, uti mo is, I don't understand that. Uti mo was, uti mo taken, the word, ordinary term, or synonym mo yung meaning. No? ang effect, remember that penal laws have interiorum effect. The purpose to regulate conduct. Pas kag penal law kay nakay gusto nga ma-accomplish, nakay gusto nga i-stop, i-prevent nga evil. Now, if you can just challenge a law because you don't understand the meaning, a criminal law, ang ending, wala na yung criminal law nga mapasa. The evil to be avoided could no longer be prevented. No? Because mawala ang interiorum effect sa balaod if penal laws can just be challenged anytime. Okay? So, if you cannot challenge it anytime, on the ground na vague na provision, di masabtan, a penal law can be challenged on as applied challenge. So meaning, when it is applied to you, these circumstances, whether or not kana imong act is the act contemplated to be punishable under the law. So meaning, when you say as applied challenge, ito yan, you consider the extant facts affecting the real litigants. Sabihin natin nga, ningan ka sa iyaha nga, kanang corrupt ka, so maldita ka, so, or guwapa ka, masitinood, isa ko lang. Now, will that amount to slander? So may ka nga, kung ka nga, slander is unconstitutional because di ko kasabot kung saan ang standard, kung saan ang malicious imputation. So, that is facial challenge. Kasi, you are not questioning the meaning of the word. Pero kung as applied, you will see the facts. Katong word ba nga, wapa ka masitinuod, will that qualify as slander? Ayan. So, you will not consider the facts and how it affect the real litigants. So, is that an imputation of a defect as defined under the law? So, yan yung ibig sabihin ng as applied. You will now see the act complained of and the law, whether or not mo ba na siya ang ginapunish sa balaod. If that is the act that is being punished, will that qualify to the prohibited act where penalty is to be meted? Ganon. So, unlike atong facial challenge, you are really questioning the definition or the word used in the law. So, again, as a general rule, if it is a penal law, an ordinary penal law, cannot be mount up with facial challenge. You can only use as applied challenge. No? So, tanawon lang dito kung kanang act bang complained of is the one punished under the law. The exception there is na pwede ka mo facial challenge. So meaning pwede rin mo i-challenge ang balaod mismo, ipa-declare na siyang unconstitutional. No? Is because if that law will affect your fundamental rights, particularly of expression, itong fundamental right na or religion. So once, if that law will affect the exercise of your protected freedom, so the fundamental freedoms, you can now question that law as unconstitutional. Okay? So again, on say grounds of facial challenge, yung vague at saka overbroad. No? So example, yung RA 10175, katong cybercrime law. Diba? Na-provision dira nga punishable act, section 5 something, no? Kining ito og abetting to libel or abetting to cyber libel. Na cyber libel, gid katong malicious imputation of a defect to a person, tapos using ICT technology. Ano yung definition niya sa cybercrime, cyber libel? No, na po'y abetting to libel. Nga, minito siya, imong i-proliferate ang libelous, ang cyber libel na statements. Now, it was brought to the attention to the Supreme Court. The question niya ang word nga abetting to libel. How is it committed? Is that understandable? No. Or is it vague? Is it overbroad? So, karon, there's an actual case to put a practical application of that provision na kay Facebook account, social media, na yung nag-post og libelous statement. Tapos ikaw, kay nakuratan ka, imong dilike. Wow! I-like mo siya. What is the effect when you like a statement? It will appear in your FYP, correct? Your common friends, the public will see it. Imo nang gilike. Nawa pa ka tagbaw nag-like, nag-share pagit ka. Ganahan ko niya, kaya huwag siya na ulaw, no? Lakas loob, i-share niyo. Now, remember you shared a libelous statement online. What is the effect? Di ba mapublish siya sa imong mga common friends or sa public, no? If naka-public mo account, everyone can see it, no? Huwag lang i-search. Now, pa ka natagbaw, nag-comment pa dyan ka, LOL, LOL. So, parang expression na ito nila sa kuano, WTF. Yan. So, parang mga kuan, kanang LMAO. Yung mga nang expression. Now, kung sa effect ka na pag maghatag ka comment, magkano ka, pag-react ka, di ba? Post po na sa imong timeline. Makita po na sa tao. Now, question, is that abetting to libel? Kay ang statement, ang original nga statement, na-publish man, doon ka na kay gibuhat. No? So sabi ng Supreme Court, abetting to libel is a very vague na term. No? Kasi when you make a comment, you share, you like, there was no criminal intention. No? Dili ma-ascertain kung ang purpose ba nimo is to libel someone. It could be the purpose is different. You know, it can just be a plain expression. Or it could be that you are sad about it. That's why you want it to bring to the attention of other concerned persons, etc. So, sabi ng Supreme Court, that's a knee-jerk reaction. Wala yung meaning sa tao na nag-post, etc. Na nag-react. No? So, in the end, the term abetting to cyber libel is struck down as unconstitutional because it's difficult to determine. No? Ang law enforcer would say, nag-like ka, criminal, libelous statement, like, appeal ka sa mga penalized. So, no problem now. By liking, by sharing, or by making a neutral comment, no problem. Pero once nga, mo comment ka dito ug daotan, kaya natin ingon siya, si Mr. X, kay, palautang, may kopod, mo reply ka, baka akong pagid na, etc. Lugang-lugangan ni mong statement. That's not abetting to libel, ang imuhang statement. That's an independent, separate cyber libel. Okay? Statement naman po siya nga ikaw ang author. So, you are penalized. No? Not because you make a comment, but because your comment is another cyber libel comment. No? So, hindi siya abetting to cyber libel, but it's really a separate libelous statement. So, careful now with the statement you make in your reactions. Okay? So, as applied, ay in facial challenge, ito yung mga pwede mong i-raise na ground, no? Absence of due process, lack of fair notice, lack of standards, no, overbreadth, or vagueness. In facial challenge, ito lang ang pwede mag-ground. Ito lang dalawa. Overbreadth lang at saka vagueness. So as applied, you can always use other standards, no, based on set of facts. Okay. In as applied, you use the requisites for judicial review. Katong standard yung upat, katong it is the number one, illegal standing, no? Person with legal standing. Okay. It should be raised at the earliest opportunity, yung constitutionality, the etc. lis modo of the case. Okay. We go back. Under no case may ordinary penal statutes be subjected to a facial challenge. Okay? Only statutes on free speech, religious freedom, and other fundamental rights may be facially challenged. Okay? So, ano yung mga fundamental rights natin? Right to speech, expression, religion, privacy, no? Of communication or right to privacy, right to travel, ano pa? Right to information of matters of public concern. These are fundamental rights as provided in our jurisprudence. Okay. So, again, only statutes, only penal laws that affects our free speech, our religious freedom, and other fundamental rights may be facially challenged. Okay? Under no case may ordinary penal statutes be subjected to a facial challenge. So, ordinary statute na siya, as applied ay muang gamiton na stand new test. So, in facial challenge, we have only two grounds. Again, one is overbreadth, the other one is vagueness. Okay? Itong dati, yung 2017, kung ano niya siya, no? Kung ano siya sa bago nga, appeal na ang vagueness sa ground. Okay? 2019, no? Kasi sa Spark and Quezon City, dili pwede ground ang vagueness sa facial challenge 2017, but in 2019, facial challenge grounded on void for vagueness is acceptable. So, this will be the one that is prevailing. So, duha lang ka-ground ang facial challenge. You can declare a penal law as unconstitutional if it affects your freedom of expression, press, religion, and other fundamental rights, and the term used in the law are vague, or the provisions of that law is overbroad. Okay? Ito yon sa Dicini versus Secretary, yung sabi ko na Section 5, yung aiding or abetting in the commission of cybercrime. Yung abets or aids in the commission of any of the offense shall be held liable. So, when do you abet it? When do you aid it? No? So, just by liking, just by sharing, just by commenting, is that already aiding or abetting? Because the original statement is libelous, so it was struck as unconstitutional. Example kini, an ordinance prohibiting notorious street gang members from loitering in public places. Wala sa problema ng loitering kay kaning loitering ka naman ang magsulisuroy nga uling kwarta, no? Mo ba ng loitering? Sa may loitering? Taken in its ordinary sense. Loiter. Delay activity, idle stop and post, dawdle. Okay? Remain in an area, mag-standby with no obvious reason. So, kining notorious street gang members, bawal magpundo sa isa ka public place, loitering, magtambay sa kalugar. Can you challenge it facially? On the ground of vagueness? Does it affect your fundamental right? Yes, to travel. Ano pa, bawalan man ka mo itong lugar. Correct? So, pwede ka mag-facial challenge. Okay. Kasi, di ba, loiter movement man na siya, so right to travel ang mapektuhan, which is a fundamental right. So pwede ka mag-facial challenge ani. Kung sa imong ground, pwede ka on the ground of vagueness. Asa ang vague ani? Ang loitering may problema na kay ang ordinary meaning sa loiter pundo raman without a purpose, no? Or uh, idle sa isa ka or pause in a specific place. No? Dili ka sa notorious street gang member. What do you mean by notorious? Kaila sa imuha nga 5 ka tao nga member ka sa gang? Is that notorious? No? So maghot-hot ng pulis, kaila man si Manong nga member ka. Notorious na ka. So that is already vague. No? Kasi police officers are given unbridled discretion. Sila na yung mag-guess sa meaning kung ka notorious. When are you considered notorious? Ayan, wala man na-define sa notoriety. No? So, that's an example. You can challenge this facially because this will affect fundamental right, which is the right to travel. And you don't understand fully what is the act punishable. Being notorious, street gang member. What is notorious? Now, we go down to libel. Siyempre, alam naman natin na no law shall be passed abridging the freedom of expression. Anong kasuhan man ka kung na-apply statement, libelous statement. So, why is libel punished? Because libelous statements have no social value. So, since wala sila social value, they are not part of the exposition of ideas that will benefit the society. So, dili siya part sa expression. So, kung expression lang, dapat na siya social value. So, that's why it's punished. Hindi siya protected na expression. Now, the state's interest in social order outweighs any benefit that may be derived from it. That's why libel is punished. You cannot say that the law punishing libel is unconstitutional because the freedom of speech is violated. So, libel is not a protected speech because it has no social value. It's not part of the exposition of ideas that will benefit the society. Now, take note, in libel cases, if a statement, libelous statement, alam mo yung sabihin ng libel no, under your criminal law, it is a malicious imputation of defect, a vice, a condition, no, a character or a characteristic, no, to a person, no, so, malicious imputation of a defect, malisyoso nga pagpasangil or pag-describe sa tao. So, if libelous statement is made against a public officer, uso mo ginamit yung corrupt si mayor, example, corrupt si Kong, naka-kwarta, naka-kickback aning mga projects. No? So, now, take note that if this will relate to official function, then truth is a defense. So, kung ingon ka nga ang mayor corrupt, kung such a case ay mo nga kay di matinuod, mo corrupt. So, mo depensa, tinuod man niya corrupt ka. So, how do you prove truth? In fact, na ay decision ang ombudsman sa imuha for convicting you of graft and corrupt practices act. Or, pwede kami nga, in fact, na kay COA disallowance, etc. So, truth is a defense. You have to prove that. Okay? Now, na ay reverse burden or reverse presumption. presumption there is it's true. So, ikaw ang naay burden. Ang public officer has the burden. If you really want nga makafile og libel suit against kanang tawana kay ang imong dignity as a public officer, as a person has eroded, then i-prove mo na the statement, the libel statement was made with the knowledge of its falsity. So meaning kabalo ka nga kanang tao i-prove nga kanang tao nga nagsulti nga og libel statement kabalo nga din na tinuod, and yet iya ka pang gisulti, or there was a reckless disregard whether it's true or not. Kabalo siya daan nga clear imong name, wala kay violations, nakadawat kag mga recognition for outstanding etc. And yet iya ka nang utter nga mga statements. Yun, that's the way, the only way nga a libel suit can prosper. No? Now, what if the libelous statement does not relate to the official function? Yun mo si mayor nga kanang babaero, may kaka-mayor, kung may kagrehag kabit, it relates to a crime, truth is a defense. But if it doesn't relate to a crime, it doesn't relate to a public function, may ka nga si Mayor Aswang, kung labot sa iyang pagka-official function, then truth is not a defense. Libel will prosper. Dili kailangan i-prove ni Mayor nga it was made with the knowledge of its falsity or there was a reckless disregard of whether it's true or not, because it has nothing to do with his official function. These are personal na nga mga matter na clearly a libelous statement. So, take note of the two. If the libelous statement relates to the official function or relates to a crime, truth is a defense. There is a reverse presumption. The public officer has the duty to prove that the statement is false and it was made with the knowledge of falsity or there was a reckless disregard whether it is true or not. Now, if it does not relate to official function or does not relate to a crime, truth is not a defense. Libel will prosper. Okay? Now, this also applies to public figure. So, when you say public figure, you mean any person who, by his accomplishment, fame, mode of living, or by adopting a profession or calling which gives the public interest in his doing, affair, or character. Sikat, no, public figure, mga vlogger, nga nagkakig mga followers, pasok din na. No? So, mga politicians, mga celebrity, no? Siguro, professional, nga known to the public. No? So, that's wala may standard public figure ka. Basta more on, it being, you are publicly known. No? You are, you have a reputation that the public knows about. No? So, that's public figure. Okay? How about obscenity? Mga pornographic material. Okay? So when you say obscene material, it is defined as something offensive to chastity, decency, or delicacy. As to corrupt those whose minds are open to such immoral influences and into whose hands a publication or other such article charged as being obscene may fall. When you say obscene material, something that is offensive to chastity, decency, or delicacy. When is it obscene? Kung say standard na to. Kasi pag if it's an obscene material, the state has the interest to censor or to punish. So, when will it pass as a pornographic or X-rating material? And when is it within the limits of artistic expression? Okay. Okay. Remember sa, di ba na yung mga film sa una nga, naghalok lang, i-blurred. Karon okay na lang. Nga, naitao nga makita lang ang iyang cleavage, i-blurred. Nya, kita mo ka naggandagan naka-swimsuit sa beach. Wala problema, klaro ng tanan, anong wala ka blurred mo? Banwa, no? Sa standard, no? When I was in fourth year, that was way back in 1996, the fourth year, Alisal dahil mga time 1998. 1998 pa niya ito o 1996? Nakikipagawas ang film ni Cesar Montano na Rizal. First 2 minutes, ching, babae nga naghubo, nakita iyang bulbits. Shock me, wow! Kuya mo ba niya sila? High school ba ito na, mandatory ba itong data high school at tumutanaw? No? Pero nagpasarap man siya sa MTRCB. Yung sa among panahon sa una, kita lang kagtutoy, makita lang kag kanang bulbit sa babae, makalilisang naman kayo sa una, kasala naman ka. No? Pero we were so shocked na gi-allow to siya at that time. No? So, in defense, marang ipagawas nila nga, hindi naman daw tumalaway ka ng, kung ano to daw, kung ng artistic expression ng daw to. I do not know. Ano yung pasal to? So, aban pa to? Gikat na to. Pero kung mo ba to siya gikat? To me, ang obscenity is culturally determined. Correct? Depende sa kultura. Siguro sa Pilipinas at that time, buk-buk na ito po panahon hindi na kahit conservative. Pero kung siguro kung i-release to siya in 1950s, giihaw na siguro itong director atog ang itong mga kuan. At that time, very, very conservative man ang Filipino culture. No. The Supreme Court applied the test, the Miller test. So, for censorship of artistic expression, sexy nga material, tapos sa'yo gina-censor. When is it pwede niyo siya ipakita in full? When siya pwede censor? The test is whether the average person applying contemporary community standards would find that the work taken in its entirety appeals to prurient interest. Prurient, no? Siguro sa Bisaya ni mautgan, no? Okay. When do you call it prurient? Maraog, lascivious. Wala appeal sa imo ha, ganahin, so artistic mo lang na, ganahan ka pero wala reaction, siguro artistic man na, no? So, kini nga test mo, yapon sa ma-determine, no? So, marunong siya case-to-case basis. Okay? To consider it obscene, tanawon ang expression. No? So, it should be taken its entirety. Bahay nga naghubo, nakigda lang po, side view, warag tuod, so wala reaction. Pero kung mag-cute-cute na siya, may wow, load naman yun, kung ano gini daotan, censored na, pwede na siya i-cut, mga ganun ba? No? So, it will be taken in the entirety. If it appeals now to the prurient interest. Okay. Muna siya ang standard. So, obscenity. So, once it is obscene, it is not protected. The state has the right to restrict the expression. Okay, pwede siya i-censor. Pero kung wala pa siya lampas sa does it appeal to the pure interest. So, kiss. Well, kiss can be brotherly, friendly, etc. In other culture, there's no malice. It's still an artistic expression. Now, take note, in the Iglesia case, MTRCB has the power to suppress, not just classify. So, pwede siya mo. MTRCB is empowered to X-rate the material. Pwede niya i-censor. Okay? So, in PETA v. CA, obscene materials cannot be seized without judicial issue warrant. So, kailangan, di siya administratively, pwede na siya i-confiscate. Na pornography film, kung ano mo dito. Kailangan gapon ka o application sa court. or search warrant for the seizure of the same. Para ground siya for violations for pornography law or other prohibited, other penal laws. Okay? Mm-hmm. No, a facial challenge is allowed to be made to a vague statute to one which is overbroad because of possible chilling effect upon protected speech. So, the overbreadth and vagueness doctrines then have special application only to free speech cases. So, kung hindi siya mag-involve ng free speech, hindi siya. Or freedom, other protected freedom, fundamental rights, really available on facial challenge. Now, petition and assembly. We are not talking about demonstrations, not public demonstrations, rally. So, freedom of assembly is the right of the people to meet peaceably. Take note, peaceably. So, kung magbinukbukay na, nanay manlupad ng mga kanang kuan, botilya, no? Nagsunog-sunog na niya, nanay nakuyapan kay subaka init or nakuyapan kay ginawa tong sa aso, no? Di na siya peaceably. Pwede na siya i-disperse. Okay? Pwede na musulod si state. Pwede niya pagbawalan ang assembly. So, because of, it should be peaceably. So, when you say freedom of assembly, people can meet peaceably for consultation and discussion on matters of public concern. So, sa rally, whether it's allowed or not, the conduct of rally should be allowed or not, we apply clear and present danger to public safety. Meaning, mo-apply ka og permit to rally, diba, karon under the BP 880, kanang freedom of assembly na to nga law, di ba ka pwede ka mag-rally-rally kung sa Freedom Park, eh. No need to permit man na kay Freedom Park man, no? Pero kung in other places, mo-apply di kag permit. So, it has nothing to do with unsa imong i-rally. It's not content-based, it's content-neutral. Okay? Okay, it's only in the manner. Before ka mag-rally, kailangan na kay permit, etc. If it's held in other place. So, if it's held in freedom parks, no need for permit. Kapag ito, freedom park man siya. Pero kung other location, other parks ka mo ito, kailangan mo lukat ka. Pero other public places, kailangan kag permit. What if there is no freedom park, then all parks will be treated as freedom park. Kasi asa pwede na ka stage of rally without freedom permit. Other parks, not other places. Na? So, who has the burden of proving that there is no permit? So, it's now the permitting office. Why? Remember that, kuan ba na, kanang excess of freedom yan na. No? So, kung i-disperse ni LGU, ni Mayor, ang nag-conduct o public demonstration, nag-rally kay walay permit, siya ang mag-prove. Nasa iya ang burden of proving na walay permit. But because under the law, once you have filed an application at least 2 days before the assembly niya, not acted upon, it is deemed approved. No? Once na ka-application niya, wala denial sa imong application for permit to conduct rally, ang presumption na-approve na to imong permit. That's what the law says, no? Okay? Freedom man siya, protected freedom man siya. Okay? So, when can you restrict, bawalan nimo ang pag-rally or i-deny nimo ang pangayo og permit sa rally, no? You have to apply the clear and present danger. Dili tong strict scrutiny, but clear and present danger. Supposing, mingan ka, mayor mo, apply ko, mag-rally ko sa highway, sa crossing, sa Jollibee, sa Tagum. Tapos, tingnan ni mayor, na pa may gina-repair dila sa kalsada, na pinaayo pa man ng island din ha. So, pag-apply mo og permit, deny ni mayor. Dili ko kahata sa imong permit aning lugar kay na-apply ongoing na trabaho. Can you question the denial of your application for permit on the ground na deny mo ang na-restrict mo freedom of assembly? Well, The right answer there is, you apply the clear and present danger. Is there a clear and present danger? Kung kinaay nag-repair, does it mean nga na-danger sa tao? Na nabay na masamad, na nabay na buklan, etc. Pwede naman sila mag-rally, hindi lang sila mag-rally dito sa nag-repair. Dito lang sila sa gilid. So in the end, it will not satisfy the clear and present danger. There might be clear danger but not present. No? Wala pa may nangasamad. So dapat dili mo siya i-allow. Dili mo siya i-deny. Just because na ay civil works din na construction. Because the rally can still go on without affecting the work. Pero kung naanay nangasamad, that's clear and present. Pwede na i-disperse for the protection of life. In the same way nga, mayon ka nga, na yung mag-applied rally dili sa dili stage nila sa e-park, nila ibutang rally. So, ang nilang rally is about flood control, accountability. Nakita ni Mayor nga sa uban ng mga location, nag-wild ang mga tao, nagsinusunog, na mga mga offensive ng mga statements, na mga wounded sa other ng mga location. Pwede ba mo ingon si Mayor nga i-deny na ko ni kini nga grupo unruly kini sila when they conducted the same rally in Davao na yung mga ng ospital nagipandakop sa pulis, they have it in Cebu na ay nakuyapan, etc. So in Tagum, para to avoid it, I will deny it. Is that allowed? The answer is no. We call it heckler's veto. Okay? Ang heckler's veto, kana bang i-veto sa permitting authority ang deny niya ang paghatag authority or permit to rally on the ground nga naay perceived nga expected reaction. Ito mo na ay possible nga disorder, na ay perceive na potential disorder. There is no present danger yet. So it will not pass the test of clear and present. Di makasure nga naagi may tabo. No? So meaning to say, trade permit, kulat nga naanay may tabo. So maximum tolerance, let it be. But once there is already danger, clear and present, nakita na mo na ang lupad na ang mga plato, ang lupad na ko nga bukol, nagdugo-dugo ng mga kuan dito tao, that's the time na imo silang i-disperse because the danger is already clear and present. But on the grant of permit, wala pa may present. Sabihin na lang siguro nagkagira-gira na ay mga nagbuba niya na may mag-apply o permit. And surely there is a clear and present danger. Anong grant na makagubot naman? Diba? So, you satisfy the standard in the restriction of the right. So take note, if it is the exercise of the right to assembly, the test is clear and present danger. If you restrict expression and speech and press freedom, you determine if it is content neutral or content based. If it's content based, if you look into the meaning or the content of the expression, then you apply strict scrutiny test to determine the validity of the restriction of the law. But if it has nothing to do with the content, it has something to do with the time, manner, and mood, or we call it content neutral, you only apply the intermediate scrutiny test. Okay? So for that, and I think in Malabanan versus Remento case, 1084, student has the right to rally. It does not shed their constitutional right to free speech, assembly, and petition when they enter the gates of the university. The students can raise issues involving their welfare as well as matters involving public interest. But they must secure permit from the school authorities if they hold rallies inside the campus, who cannot deny it arbitrarily. So the terms may be modified so as not to disrupt classes. Pwede maghatag o conditions sa manners, but without sacrificing the freedom. How about this commercial speech kanang mga spam? Can we pass a law prohibiting commercial speeches kanang mo kahit pop up, mga advertisement na mo kalit nagawa sa imong pag-open mo sa imong emails? Can a law be passed prohibiting this? The answer is no. Why? Because commercial speeches, mga ads, they are still part of expression and speech. And as such, they still enjoy protection. So dapat, ikaw nga tag-IS account, ikaw lang na i-discretion whether imo ba nang basahon or not, o imo ba na siyang i-delete, kanang mga spam o kanang mga commercial ads. Pero dili pwede nga, the state will just regulate it right away. After all, these are still speeches. These are still, although commercial speeches, which still part of protected speeches and expression under the Constitution. Okay? So, I think, time check, it's 9 o'clock. We are finished with this. We call it an evening. Thank you for coming, 28 of you. So, we'll meet again tomorrow. Naka-check na taga-attendance din? Naka-ano ka na?
Yes, attorney.
Okay. Pag-present sa itong grupo para mabayaran ko. Good night everyone. And it's 9 o'clock. Bye. Tomorrow again.
Bye po. Thank you.